hours maintaining your gutters. Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wrapper hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
The ladies have been doing a lot of talking recently. She looks great. What they don't know is I got Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside my body. I feel refreshed because I'm not struggling with CPAP anymore. $100, she got work done. Great sleep at the click of a button. Did she get an implant? Yeah, I got an implant, Sheila. Relax. It's Inspire. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. Learn more and view important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Every day. Oh, it's got ranch on it. Oh, it's got ranch on it. Two of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meat.
At Ring, we've reinvented the doorbell, and now we're reinventing home security with Ring Alarm. It's the simplest, fully customizable. At Ring, we've reinvented the doorbell, and now we're reinventing home security with Ring Alarm. It's the simplest, fully customizable.
Why is it repeating? Hello, hold on 1 second.
This guy got the message loud and clear.
That's right, Nugenix Total T.
Nugenix Total T is the unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient, clinically researched to boost free testosterone to help you feel stronger. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone brand at GNC, but you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting SWIFT to 42424.
Thanks. It'll make you feel like a new man. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text SWIFT to 42424. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever.
Celebrate the 4th in America. Live tonight at 7 on CNN.
The city of Evanston, Illinois, has now closed its beaches, canceled its fireworks show. This is, of course, after the mass shooting at a parade just north in Highland Park today. Now, across the country, cities are bringing back fireworks and other celebrations, of course, after this 2-year hiatus from the pandemic. Natasha Chen is at a beach as the city prepares for its big fireworks show. Miguel, let's go to you first. Any security changes, changing the measures there in light of what happened near Chicago?
Nothing obvious, but certainly not only with police, but also with people who are already gathering here, there is a real sense of sobriety and seriousness given what's happened in Chicago. That news made its rounds very quickly here. Look, the events don't get any bigger on the East River with the New York City skyline behind it, but just like they do at New Year's or at the Macy's Day Parade on Thanksgiving, it is a massive security arrangement here. This is sort of the main road that will remain a secure area. There'll be people on both sides of this. The roads here are blocked off for several blocks behind us. Thousands of police officers, not only here, but at public areas across the city, in neighborhoods to make sure that there are not either illegal parties, illegal fireworks, or other things going on. And then from the air, the land, the sea, NYPD does these events quite often. They feel that they have everything they need, but certainly with what's happened in Chicago, there is a new sense of the reality and a seriousness to tonight's event. Back to you.
Yeah, certainly there would be a massive security, both uniformed and plainclothes security footing for the city of New York, regardless of what happened across the country. Natasha, let me come to you and how people are celebrating in Santa Monica. Are you seeing any security changes there?
Well, Victor, we did see a group of sheriff's deputies come on through in the last hour, but upon checking with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, this is a typical group of deputies who would be out here anyway. They said, monitoring what is happening in Illinois, but at this moment, they're not deploying extra resources in any sense or changing their plans in any way. We're also reaching out to other local law enforcement to ask about that. From what we're seeing out here among the crowd here in Santa Monica, we talk to people who are out here because the last few years have been in some way restrictive, especially on the West Coast here, where some of the policies have been a little bit more stringent, relatively speaking. They are so excited to be out and about. We even had out-of-town visitors tell us that they held off coming here last year and waited until this year. So a lot of people eager to get out, but one of the things that law enforcement and fire departments are really keeping an eye for is illegal fireworks. They really want people to go to professional fireworks shows. It is illegal to set off your personal fireworks in the city of LA. Think about the severe drought and wildfire dangers in the western region. And so a lot of that, they're very concerned about wildfires that could be starting because of this holiday, Victor.
Certainly, wildfires spike right around this period in the first week of July every year. Natasha Chen, Miguel Marquez, thank you. And of course, we're following the breaking news out of Highland Park, Illinois. Police are on the scene of this fatal shooting at a 4th of July parade. The gunman's still out there. We'll take you back to the scene.
Hey, did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Mom.
It was so easy. I found the perfect car, under budget too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana. She's eating the rocket. I've got moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now, there's Sky Rizzy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clearer skin in 4 months after just 2 doses.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Talk to your dermatologist about Sky Rizzy. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
The Minions are coming to IHOP with an all-new menu you're going to love. Excuse me.
Enjoy the Minions menu at IHOP. For a limited time, kids eat free and catch Minions, the Rise of Gru.
Hi, we're Zero Water, and we believe everyone deserves the purest tasting water. That's why we strive for zero. You see, to some it means
I'm just going to check
nothing,
the
but to
sound
us,
for a
It
minute.
means everything. Here, take a look. This meter showing triple zeros means our 5-stage filter did its job, and that virtually all dissolved solids,
I'm just
or
gonna
TDS,
check the
have
sound
been
for a minute.
removed. And all that's left is the purest tasting water. Let's compare. A 2-stage Brita filter stops here, but our 5-stage filter doesn't quit. Zero Water. We strive for zero.
Previously on United Shades of America, I met the KKK.
All right, I'll check it more later.
Rights, reparations, and Canada. I became the king of difficult conversations.
So what's next? We're going all in.
United Shades of America with Yogi Kamal.
Selling a home is expensive and stressful, so we set out to create a better home selling experience with a network of the most successful real estate agents in America that'll sell your home for as little as a 2% commission.
The icing on the cake with the Ideal Agent was that we saved $12,000 in commission.
We would definitely use Ideal Agent again. The whole process was so positive for us.
Excellent service. Getting right to the point, hiring Ideal Agent. I wish we would have done that. Months of time and mortgage payments that
would have probably never happened if we would have just gone with them first.
They were so stress-free. The whole process was amazing, and I would definitely recommend them.
We certainly recommend Ideal Agent out to all of our family, all of our friends. It's just a great experience.
We are not a discount brokerage. These are top local agents that'll get you the best results.
I'm Whitney Wild at the Supreme Court, and this is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I'm Victor Blackwell. Thank you for staying with us. We, of course, covering the breaking news, this manhunt happening right now for the man who opened fire at a July 4th parade in Highland Park, Illinois. He's described as armed and dangerous. At least have been taken to hospitals. Now, at a briefing a short time ago, police described this suspect.
The suspect is currently described as a male white, approximately 18 to 20 years old, with longer black hair, a small build, and wearing a white or blue t-shirt. A firearm has been recovered from the scene.
It does appear he was shooting from a roof. The roof that he was shooting from, I don't have that information right now.
Assisting in this investigation, and authorities are asking, of course, anyone with video to contact Highland Park Police. We've known the video in situations like this has been crucial. CNN's Adrian Broadus was near the scene when the shooting happened. Adrian, tell us what you know.
Well, Victor, this parade route has become a crime scene. If you look behind me, it's easy to notice people have left all of their belongings, but I want to show you the sense of urgency at this hour. Up on the roof of this building in downtown Highland Park, you see snipers on top of the building. This, as members of law enforcement tell us, they still do not know where that 18 to 20-year-old suspect is. As we've been telling you throughout the morning and now afternoon, at least 6 people have died and more than 24 others injured. I spoke with folks who were here at the parade. One man told me he was using his cell phone to tape or video record the band that was passing by. The minute he stopped recording, he said those shots rang out. I spoke with another woman a short time ago, Zoe. She was here with her family. This is what she described. Listen in.
I've been going to this parade since I was a little kid, and I just moved back from Phoenix, Arizona. And my dad and I wanted to come here again as like a thing of father-daughter camaraderie. And we got here nice and early for the pet parade and the kids parade, front row, right across from Walker Brothers in Port Clinton. About, a little bit after the band went through, we heard, and probably
they were confirming that there were multiple shots and people who had been killed. They were loath to give out numbers because the situation was fluid. But we heard from that press conference the stunning and sad information that 6 people shot, others, at least 24 injured. We don't know how many of those were shot necessarily, but it's clearly the mass shooting scenario that law enforcement officials that I've been talking to in recent days have been concerned about. And they were concerned about the lone wolf scenario primarily. People of different grievances, of different motives, perhaps acting out during the 4th of July. Again, they had no specific credible threat. This was just a general concern given the threat environment. We just saw all those people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We just had the Uvalde. We had the Supreme Court decisions which had caused a lot of angst in the country. We had the July congressional hearings about the insurrection. So law enforcement officials were looking at all of these scenarios and being very concerned that different individuals with different points of view might actually act out. And unfortunately, that is what has happened today. Now, they say this is random. We have no idea yet on what the motive is, but law enforcement officials are emphasizing that because this is active, because the shooter is not in custody, even though they recovered a rifle as the law enforcement official just breathed, there is still concern that the person may have other weapons available, and there's a desperate attempt to find him. The Attorney General of the United States has been briefed, and Homeland Security officials are trying to gather more information. The FBI, as you saw, is on the scene we expect other federal agencies will be assisting in this investigation.
Right, and when the FBI and all of these agencies tell you the scene is active and to shelter in place, that's what's going to be happening in that area. Pierre, thank you. I want to bring in former FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, if the shooter did take a position on top of the building, which police are telling us he did, first, what does that tell us about this particular shooter, and how will that inform the investigation as it moves forward?
This is ABC from an hour ago, but they still don't have any suspect.
He really planned this. He picked a location in the proximity of the parade route. He picked apparently the beginning of the parade. There may be a reason for that. He used an assault weapon or a rifle, as they described it, but he left it at the scene. So that's really important because that tells me he didn't want to get caught. How many mass shootings have you and I and others talked about where they get into a gunfight with the police at some point? He didn't want to apparently do that. It's more like Nicholas Cruz at Parkland, who just blended in with the people and disappeared. So organized, a timed shooting perhaps. You can shoot and sadly kill a lot of people in a couple of minutes. It looks like the shooting didn't go on very long, so he has fled. Another important variable is his age, because if he's 18 to 20, that means he's probably social media active, which means he may well have talked about doing this prior to committing this shooting. Now, according to them, they don't know who he is, but I'm only suggesting if that element is true, there would be a lot of leads out there from folks he's talking to online. You also have the other advantage, obviously, if he's in a building, if he's in a parking garage, someplace elevated, he had to get there. Many times there are camera systems, CCTV, in buildings, in parking garages, and maybe they've got some good shots of it, and they maybe saw a direction he fled. It's really hard to say, but there's a lot of pieces of this that I think become relevant as you try to figure out who committed this.
And Brad, just quickly, I think that what terrifies people in situations like this,
Can you hear?
Think of Las Vegas, someone shooting from a high perch. Federal investigators were concerned about something like this. They were concerned about a lone wolf, as Pierre Thomas has told us for days now, and yet it happened even with an
Should I
increased
check the
police
sound
presence.
again?
How can you stop these things from happening if you can?
Check the sound again.
You can't stop them unless you know about them.
Happening if you can.
Obviously, let's use Uvalde for 2 seconds. That shooter gets out of a car with a weapon, shoots at people on the street, and goes into the school, okay? He basically announced what he was going to do. This shooter, I'm going to assume, concealed this weapon somewhere in a bag, inside his clothing. I don't know how big it is, so we don't know. He goes up to this location, he commits this shooting, and then he leaves. And unless he's talked about this online or talked to a friend or someone else, how would police even know? If he'd have been on their radar screen and they'd heard information 2 days ago that this kid was going to come and possibly shoot at a parade, or during a parade, they would have dealt with that. But I'd be shocked if they had any of that information. So that's the big problem here.
All right, Brad Garrett, thank you for the expertise. We do appreciate it. Joining me now is former NYPD Chief of Detectives and ABC News contributor Robert Boyce. Robert, what can you tell us about what we can learn from this weapon? They have the weapon, they don't have the shooter, they tell us. They're still sheltering in place. It is an active situation, but they do have the weapon. So how does that help?
So they can easily, they should be able to, at some point, retrieve that serial number on the weapon, put that into a data system, and see who bought the weapon and when they bought it. If it's looking at all like you're I hate to say typical active shooter, but you see these young men now doing this, they just bought the gun. So perhaps they can get something off that because they have to identify him. It's going to be an active shooter, Phil, for a situation for quite some time in that area. They're doing grid searches right now. He's not in custody. Also do a social media scrub and see if there's any kind of language going on about this. If anybody has any video of this individual, the grid search is important. But the rifle, that's the key point here. And it looks like from what witnesses told us, he fired 3 groupings, which means he had fired 3 magazines. Are the magazines there? So you can look the print and see if his print is on file and get DNA down the road to see if they can tie him to this through that. But right now, The issue is that a lot of these individuals have a secondary gun outside their primary, and that's the real threat right now. This is not over. So they're going to be up in Highland Park on this for quite some time. Right now is to get big data going and get it done as fast as possible. And just an issue on elevated snipers. That seems to be the biggest threat we now have at these instances. A lot of police departments will have someone up on rooftops in varying locations to see that doesn't happen. Clearly, that wasn't the issue here, because as Brad said, they didn't know this was going to happen. But that's the new way going forward. Elevated positions where you can spot these individuals immediately and hopefully stop them before it digresses into this.
All right, Bob Boyce, thank you so much for your expertise as well. Latest numbers we have from the Highland Park Police, 24 transported to the hospital, 6 confirmed dead right now at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, just north of Chicago. The shooter, police tell us, still on the loose. They are asking everybody to shelter in place in that area, and in surrounding communities, 4th of July events have been canceled because they are still considering this a very active and very fluid situation. Our coverage will continue on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. Full details on World News Tonight. For now, I'm Phil Lipoff in New York. Good day.
Okay, thanks for listening with me.
This has been a special report from ABC.